Hello, and welcome to this Dotacinema production. My name is SUNSfan. Joining me is Purge from Purge Gamers, and this is SkyNet League group stages. I don't even know what, I don't understand how the tournament's working. I don't even care anymore. I just want to cast. That's all I care about. This is supposedly the best matchup we have so far. Panzer, aka Panzer, versus EPIDEMIC. How's it going, Purge?
I'm doing pretty well, man, and I'm super excited for this game. Both teams very well known, or at least there's some players on both teams that I'm very familiar with, and I've seen them all do some really awesome stuff, so I hope to see some really sweet metagaming.
Metagaming for the win. And I can't wait to do pick ban analysis because apparently I am amazing at it. I've been told many a time.
Yeah, I have read that. I've read that a few places.
So I want to talk to you about this because this is my assumption. Or not assumption, this is how it is. This is just plain and simple. There are 4 tier 1 bans and then 2 tier 1.5 bans. Okay? Now,
all right, what would you name those heroes?
All right, so the tier 1 would be Anti-Mage Furion, Broodmother, and Night Stalker, and then the 2 bands after that, which are usually picked first, which we're seeing one of the bands here, is Lich and Windrunner. Would you agree?
I would maybe put Lich on tier 1, and Broodmother is probably tier 1. I would not put... I mean, Windrunner's good, but I don't think she's game-breaking, to be honest. But, see, in this case, we see a Lich over Nature's Prophet. I personally think that absolute top players can dominate with a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
But if it's other than that, I feel like Nature's Prophet isn't quite as strong as some other heroes. I mean, we see the picks up. I mean, so you definitely know who's coming out of the picks, but it kind of comes down to how good your players are at playing those heroes and how well it works with the way that your team plays. I think that's the most important thing, but as a whole, like, those are definitely top 10. All those ones you named, definitely top 10 heroes.
Now, Furion, who, again, his name's Prophet, but I just can't get used to that, to be perfectly honest. That's just one of those heroes you can't let just jungle. And then, obviously, you can solo with him, too. I mean, that's the greatest thing about it. Like, if you put him mid or something like that, he can just TP to the other side of the map and gank and whatnot. But, like, jungling, I think, is a little more dangerous because you have that, you know, in the back of the opponent's minds where they have to gank him at some point.
Well, to a certain point, yes. He can do, like, a hard carry farming build, but I think to play him really effectively, you preferably do solo him so he can have a level advantage when he ganks. He's always going to have the mana to do so because he has such good base damage. He basically can just last hit in the lane and then TP and sprout wherever he needs to go. I think that's the most effective way to play him, is high ganking, not really focusing on getting like a hand of Midas and farming, because you can always just get a hard carry to do that instead. So I think that's slightly more effective with the Nature's Prophet.
Seen some interesting picks come out here, but yeah, I haven't seen Prophet in quite a while, just because it's been banned literally every single game. But like you said, because of the Lich ban, that opens up for Nature's Prophet, and for their team so far they have Nature's Prophet, Tidehunter, and Dragonite, who've been seeing a lot lately.
Yeah, he's going to get more and more popular with time. I was actually really surprised. If you read the previous changelog in Dota 1, they even buffed Dragonite. They gave him a longer range stun in Dragon form, which I was absolutely surprised about, because he was pretty much my my upcoming hero of choice in the metagame because of the fact that he can push so effectively. I mean, Chinese players have been playing him a lot, but I didn't watch that many Chinese replays. But most importantly, he's a pretty good counter against Anti-Mage in a lot of ways. Not that people necessarily play him that way, but he is basically an early push that can transition to somewhere between a semi and a hard carry, basically.
Well, if you're in Dragon form, your stun can't be freaking melee range. I mean, come on. It makes sense on that level at least, right?
Yeah, but that's not what Dota's about, man. It's not about,
how dare
it's not
you.
about thematics and
Plus,
crap
it's
like
called Dragon's Tail, you know? So
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I was surprised by that too, because I think he's really powerful here. But honestly, I'm looking forward to see if they actually implement, like how fast they implement the changes from 7.3, the 7.3 patch, because there are a ton. If you guys haven't seen the patch update notes, there, I think you made a video on it too, actually, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there's a hell of a lot of changes, and that's pretty awesome to see. But going with the rest of the picks so far, since we're going with the second tier bands here, Windrunner, Rasta, and Veno on the Dire is looking more like a pushing lineup of sorts.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Definitely looks, at the least, they're going to have the option of doing mega kinds of push. The Radiant team being very smart about it, and they're going to ban out a Faceless Void because they're scared of that hard carry. But more importantly, they also ban out a Pugna because the Dire team would be looking for another solo hero, and Pugna definitely fits in the pushing kind of lineup. And we see a Crystal Maiden as well as a Weaver ban out of the Dire team, fearing those as support heroes and, of course, as their semi-carry solo playing the Weaver on the that would be the Radiant top lane I would expect for them to go. But they're actually going to go for a lifestealer here. And we did see that played very effectively by Panzer in the last time.
Yep.
That was casting with you, right? The Infest on the Storm Spirit, and then they just started WTF Pony and everything, and it was awesome as hell.
Yeah, hopefully they end up doing the same thing. Or the other team does the same thing. Because Nakes is, for me personally, very exciting here to play, or to watch. Because, I mean, he just comes out of the... I mean, is he going to jungle, is the question. I mean, you can definitely jungle with him. You could potentially put him in the lane, obviously, but I think jungling is a little bit more suited for this lineup, considering they have... Well, you're saying that Windrunner isn't necessarily going to be a solo, but could potentially solo along with that Rasta.
Yeah, exactly. He has that option. He can solo, he can play other lanes. I expect the Lifestealer to do a pseudo pulling and jungling strat. I've seen Kuroki do this a bunch of times. It works out really good. You basically don't need any regen. You just get healed up by Feast. And then Venomancer going to be played as support, but has the ability to push once he gets closer to 7. And Shadow Shaman also having pushing. It's definitely looking like a sort of pushing lineup, or at least to give them the possibilities to take early towers. And that's what's really important in the metagame right now, is just having at least 1 or 2 heroes to be able to take an easy tower if it's undefended.
And that's actually... I've been noticing that there's been a shift of sorts. And obviously, there's the whole metagame. It can't be similar. It can't be exactly the same to Dota 1 just because there's less heroes. But the transition to a more aggressive playstyle has been really pleasing for me, because during the international, it was just all hard carries, and that was basically all you did was hard carry. Wait till the game.
Except for Navi, they did do a lot of hard pushing. They were like kind of the first team that started doing a crap load of pushing, at least in the Euro scene. Once again, I'm no expert on the Chinese scene, but they did a lot of like hard pushing, not necessarily going for hard carries. They played Viper a few times in the international, which everybody was like, whoa, what are they doing, man? Because nobody really played Viper, and now he's getting more popular, and I just love the variety. I'm really hoping that with Dota 2 being released, all these teams are going to just stop playing boring Dota the same as every other pro team. They actually develop their own strategies and practice them well enough and get good enough at them that they can actually impact real, like, normal games with these weird strats.
Yeah, I mean, now that's still in beta, this is the time to experiment, if any, you know? And with all these teams coming in from Han and from, well, I'm not going to say LoL, but maybe there's a team from LoL in here somewhere. Either way, there's a lot of new blood coming in, if you will, and a lot of new strategy going to come with that. So Viper is the last pick, like you were alluding to. What do you think about that, about Dyer's lineup here?
It does look pretty good. Viper isn't, it's like somewhere between a semi and a hard carry, more towards a semi carry probably, and Lifestealer a little bit towards a hard carry, but it's going to allow them to have early teamfight engagements, and all of their heroes are going to be able to contribute. Especially Lifestealer, man, Rage is so good for just dodging nukes, and that's pretty much what makes all heroes squishy in the early game. So him plus Viper, especially Viper's magic damage, will eat through the Dragonite pretty decently. So I think he's most definitely going to have to get a hood this game, but once he does get that, we'll see how things end up working out. I think the Dyer's team looks pretty darn good in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they have, I mean, it's a really good mix of early, mid-game, and a little bit of late game with the Lifestealer. Viper a little bit as well. Now, Radiant side, like we're talking about, Prophet, Tidehunter, Dragon Knight, Bat Rider obviously going to be the one. Now, I'm assuming Prophet and Bat Rider are going to be the solos, unless Prophet ends up going to the jungle, right?
I think they're in a little bit of a weird situation because they did pick up a Tidehunter, since he is a melee support hero. That really surprised me. Wow, really weird lineup so far. I was going to say range support plus Dragon Knight as a dual lane is really strong, like Crystal Maiden Dragon Knight or something. So they're kind of in a weird spot. They pretty much for sure have to jungle Nature's Prophet, give Bat Rider solo, possibly a Razor Tide lane on the bottom maybe, and put Dragon Knight mid. That would be my guess, maybe Razor Tide top. Possibly something like that, and then shift the other solos around. Yeah, they have a weird lineup for sure.
Yeah, and as far as late game's concerned, I would still give this to. Well, actually, it's not that there's no legitimate hard carry like a Void or Anti-Mage and whatnot. But if you had to give it to late game to somebody, who would you give it to?
Prepare.
I guess I would probably say I don't know, it's very equal. The Dragon Knight Razor is pretty equivalent to a Lifestealer Viper, but I think Razor might be able to shut down Lifestealer. He's going to be able to shut down one of those hard carries with Static Link every single team fight. I had the same situation when I played Razor last week. I just threw a Static Link on Lifestealer, and all of a sudden he has minus 200 damage. He doesn't hit for anything at that point, so I think the Radiant team is in a slight advantage in the late game hard carry.
Well, it also depends on when he pops that Rage, of course, because it'll obviously take that off. But, you know, Razor is obviously really good. That's more of a tanky type carry, which a lot of people play Viper the same way, so kind of a, I'm not going to call it a counter pick, but a similar pick in that sort, at least for a tanky late game But as far as tankiness, I think
30
Dire
seconds to
are well, actually Dragon Knight. I completely forgot about Dragon Knight. They're both
Yeah,
really
it's
tanky. It's a pretty even game, I would say, as far as lineups are concerned, for sure.
Yeah, I would completely agree. And actually, I don't know if Static Link gets removed on Rage. I was pretty much using it free farm, like whenever I wanted to, on the Lifestealer when I played, and it seemed to work fine. I don't know if it's a bug or not. I'd have to look into it, but if that's not a bug and it just works whenever you want, whether or not you cast Rage, that's going to put Razor in a really good advantage, basically.
That would make absolutely no sense if that. Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay,
I would agree.
we're gonna check this out after the game. Actually, no, we should be able to see it in this game.
I can check right now if you want me to. Yeah, I'm going to check it quick.
All right. Meanwhile, looking at the lanes here, we have Dragon Knight, so he's gonna be soloing mid against a. Actually, Nakes is gonna be mid with a Venomancer. Very interesting. So
Weird.
he's not gonna be jungling, not gonna be ganking or anything like that. So just probably gonna go for more of a farm build on Nakes.
Yeah, I do like that though. It's a very common thing that people do sometimes when their lanes are kind of weird. They just throw their hard carry mid with a ranged support hero, and whether or not they're melee or ranged, and then all of a sudden this has the benefit of giving Lifestealer mostly free farm. It may be a little contested, but it also lets you slightly shut down the enemy solo or hard carry who goes there as well. So Dragon Knight's gonna have a harder time mid. He's gonna have to worry about that poison damage, even though he has high armor. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and then we have Tidehunter, who's actually counter warding, very early counter ward. Very nice job here. And the question is he going to group up with Dragon Knight mid to help him survive, or is... Actually, I would assume he is, because Batrider has a lot of survivability in that top lane, but it's going to be a 2v1 at the top lane, Viper and Rasta. I don't know about that lane. That's kind of a... I was talking to you about this before the game, how I don't personally like Rasta as a non-solo, but it looks like that's exactly what he's going to be playing.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if Batrider does get shackled and Viper is auto-attacking him with that poison orb, he's going to take a crap load of damage, and it's actually looking pretty bad for the Radiant team so far. Razor is soloing on the bot lane against Windrunner, which is pretty equal, but their top lane and their mid lane look like they're going to be lost, so I think this is going to put the Dire team in a big advantage.
Yeah, and actually we were talking about that, the Rasta, how nobody really has that ridiculous stun at level 1, which is very true. Unlike other games that I may play. Now, the thing here is that you said it's a solo bot, but here we have Tidehunters be pulling, so the question is, like, is he going to start roaming at this point, or is he going to stick to a lane? Because we have a jungling Prophet and Razor solo bottom. I mean, every hero in each lane can technically solo, except for the Tidehunter.
Yeah, that is one good point about it, is the fact that despite their mid lane being at a slight disadvantage and their top lane being at a slight to moderate disadvantage, they do still have a jungling Nature's Prophet, which means he's going to get farm himself, and Tidehunter is pulling, so they basically have... Every single hero is basically getting their own solo experience right now, which is a really cool thing about the Radiance lineup, and they don't necessarily have to worry about losing this game unless a lot of kills start happening. If that Shadow Shaman makes plays with the mid lane, or they kill the Batrider, that's when the Radiant team's going to have to start worrying, because they do actually have so many different farming sources.
And Rasta's going to have to pull the crap out of these creeps, as he's doing here from the side pull. But it's going to be really tough to get that shackle on a Batrider who has so much escapability, but if you happen to do that, like you said, Viper can deal enough damage to actually get the kill on him, so look forward to seeing if that's actually going to take effect. But Windrunner and Batrider are very similar as far as side solos, because both can get away from essentially anything. Obviously, the physical evasion from Windrunner is going to be most of that, but Batrider able to go through cliffs and whatnot. And that's actually a hero I've been hearing a lot about that is pick/banned consistently on the Dota 1 scene, but not so in Dota 2. Do you have any specific reasoning for that?
I don't know a ton about it. I just know of that being definitely the case. You know, as he came out in Dota 2, people didn't play him, and it was very confusing. I thought I read a comment on YouTube, so I don't know if the source is accurate at all, but I think they said there was maybe the turn rate slow was not applying. If you hover your mouse over sticky napalm, it does apply turn rate slow, so sometimes if you're running away from Batrider and you want to turn around to cast on him, it takes longer than it normally would, and it messes you up, or just like makes it harder to run away. Basically, you can't just throw stun and run. So if that turn rate slow is not being applied, like the comment basically vaguely said, then that could make an impact. But even still, it's a very small change, and I'm sure they'll fix it eventually. So
yeah, and I've also heard that he just feels completely different as far as like auto attack and last hitting is concerned. So hopefully they can remedy it. Now, do you think that he's too good in Dota 1?
They have put a lot of nerfs on him over time, lowering his armor like ticks and ticks and ticks as time went on. He's just very good at getting level 2 kills, at diving kills. I think it kind of just comes down to the player. If you don't know anything about Batrider and you think sticking napalm stacks on you don't matter, all of a sudden he can firefly on you. And I think actually one other nerf jam is that if someone casts sticky napalm, you can see how many stacks are on your person, which is definitely needs to be remedied as well. Because then you can be like, I have 5 stacks on me, I need to get the hell out of there. And that's actually something in Dota 1 that you wouldn't have that information for all you knew. It was like 1 or 2.
And we are back from the competitive pause, which is standard from every single game I've cast so far, which isn't really anything new. Titan are going to continue to pull these creeps, and looks like Venomancer actually is going to make an appearance here, as he's going to ward up the creeps to the best of his ability, but fortunately there's already a stack there, so Titan will still be able to pull that. Now, we have still Nakes versus the Dragon Knight mid, and they haven't really been very aggressive as of yet. Do you think that's an issue of any sort?
I think it's partially just that maybe Dragon Knight's been careful. He does have a stout shield, so it's already going to be pretty tough to kill the guy. It looks like the life stealer is winning the lane, so I don't think it's a huge deal. What is his level? He's just popped level 5, and he's against a 4 and a 3 Venomancer. So he's doing a decent enough job, but he's probably not getting as much farm as the life stealer is. So I don't think they have to worry about it too much. By the
Dragon Knight 8 and 2.
I did check the static link. Apparently the link's only broken when the unit dies, or the distance between them becomes greater than 675, or when the Razor loses sight. So I'm assuming it goes through Magic Community normally.
Really?
Yep.
Alright, because I know for a fact, when I used to play, of course this is years ago, that it didn't do that. But that's pretty ridiculous then, now that I think about it, because that is completely countered by BKB from what I thought, so if that's not the case, then yeah, that's a huge counter to somebody like a Nyx who can't take it off in any... I mean, it's any melee hero, really, that needs to be close range, so definitely a good
unless you
counter.
have a blink or something, yeah. I mean, he can still run away, but it's not easy, always.
Interesting. I did not know that. It looks like we might have first blood here. Windrunner trying to run away. He's going to get caught in the Prophet Trees. He's going to actually perhaps kill the Tide Hunter. Somehow gets the kill on the Tide Hunter, even though it's a 3v1 gangbang. Windrunner ends up running away, but there's a Prophet TPing a little bit ahead. Is he going to be able to get the kill? Yes, 1-for-1 trade, but first blood does go to Windrunner. Very surprising kill there. We're going to have a little bit of action mid as well. Dragon Knight finally taking some damage from this Nakes and Veno combo. A lot of slows coming out between Nakes and Venomancer. Looks like he'll be able to get this kill. And Lifestealer does get the last hit. I thought Venom might have gotten that with the poison.
Yeah, that was a nice play there by the Lifestealer. The best part about that is that they do have the Venomancer wards to scout out any juking. You know, with that low cooldown on the wards, you can block people as they try to juke through trees, something like that. And once you have that vision, it's so much easier for the Lifestealer to just right-click and get the kill done. So, but nice play by the Windrunner on the bot lane to pick up that kill. She already had phase boots done, that's why she almost got away. But a good TP by the Nature's Prophet led her off and guaranteed that kill. That would have been really rough for Panzer if they didn't pick up that Windrunner kill, I think.
Indeed. And look at Nakes' skill build here. He's going max out of open wounds. So definitely going to be more aggressive here, which it definitely is not the typical build.
Yeah, not at all. It really just looks... What is these slow steps things? Oh, God, man. Some weird, interesting data about how the skill works that I've never seen before. But really, it increases your life leech, but most importantly, decreases the cooldown down to like 12 seconds. You can use it multiple times in an early team fight, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, the slow, so that's for each second, I believe, or something like that, right?
Something like that. It's probably like how fast the slow becomes not used or something.
Yeah, it's funny because typically you don't build that even if you're in the jungle and you want to gank just because you want that feast ability to heal you up as much as possible. But I guess it makes a little bit of sense because with Venomancer's slow, I mean that's a ridiculous amount of slows on top of the mid lane. Actually, bottom lane, Windrunner's gonna try to get away with the Windrun. You see how ridiculous this skill is. Still gonna get hit by magic, but it just basically gets close to max speed, and you cannot hit him physically.
Yeah, and he's going a really interesting skill build. He actually doesn't have any shackle yet. He's just going for max power shot wind run first, which is something that I don't see a lot of players do. Usually they just get one wind run and leave it there, but there's actually been a lot of situations recently where windrunners just have a really crappy time in the ball lane. She will die to the static field though, just barely overestimating her survivability, but she is going to be more survivable with more levels of wind run. She gets to run faster, and the slow is more on the enemy. So it's kind of an interesting skill build, but I think I would actually like to see this used more often.
Yeah, actually that's really weird that she would get that really early, especially considering she didn't actually get away in that case. But of course the magic damage is going to go through everything, so can't really blame her for that. But you know, the top lane, let's go to the creep skills here, or creep stats I should say. Viper at top, 46 or 47 and 14. That's the top in the game, and that's not too surprising considering he's getting completely free farm. And not far behind on his own team is the Lifestealer that's mid, so they're farming very well compared to the Radiant at this point.
Yep, and if we look at the gold difference in gold graph, we're sitting at about 2K for the Dire team, which I'm a little surprised about. One thing I want to point out that's really awesome is that phase boots on Viper. We almost always just see treads on Viper because people are so concerned about tanking him up, but it's a lot easier to last hit and chase people with those phase boots. So Tidehunter's invis in the mid lane looking for a kill on the Lifestealer, but will he hang out for much longer? Venomancer is around as well. If they catch Venomancer, that'd be a really easy kill, but they don't realize he's over there in the jungle, or in the river.
So for people that are watching this on VOD, this is obviously being live cast right now, and people are saying that your voice sounds terrible, but it sounds fine to me, so that doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure what that's about. Hopefully, obviously there's a huge delay in when they actually see it, so hopefully it gets remedied, but I'll keep an eye on the chat here. As Tidehunter's going to run into Venomancer, going to use his Gush, and there's the Furion coming out as well, doing a little bit of chip damage. Venomancer should be able to get away here, I would believe, as now the pressure's going to be applied to Tidehunter, as we have a little bit of lag spike there. As Lifestealer now going to slow the crap out of him. But Nakes is getting damaged by the Dragon Knight as well, so I don't think any kills are actually going to come of this. But good aggression from both sides. And here's a Bat Rider coming from top lane. Doesn't have his ultimate as of yet, and they're slowly going to be applied by Nakes. And looks like Bat Rider might actually get killed here. A little bit too aggressive, didn't have any backup. Kind of interesting play there by Bat Rider.
Yeah, he really doesn't have very much farm at all, just a couple levels here, so as a result, easily picked off by a moderately farmed Lifestealer with treads, and with that open wounds, man, casts that on the Bat Rider, and doesn't have to wait too long before he gets that next cooldown, so for all we know, he wouldn't have had that cooldown there if he hadn't skilled his open wounds so heavily, but it works out very nice, gets a lot of regen out, or more lifesteal, and then he can just like fight against that Bat Rider much more effectively.
Indeed. Now Viper, again, he has not moved from this top lane. It's similar to the Razor at the bottom lane, but I would personally say that I think... Now, the Razor being a carry is all dependent, like we talked about, on the static link, if he's able to get it off. So, there's a lot of variables in this case, but all things considered equal, I still think Viper is a harder carry of sorts, since they're both built essentially the same way as a tank. And I think, as far as building as a tank, Viper is more suited for that, because, again, you get all these passive bonus from your skill that you don't really need to. It's not like it's a chance of it not working, if that makes any sense. Where Razor, you're definitely relying on that damage from static link.
Yeah, that's definitely true. If the static link doesn't go well, you're not going to be hitting for plus 200, which makes a huge impact on how effective your hero is going to be. So I would agree with that. There is a lot of things like that. Viper can just pretty much auto attack and have it easy mode, moderately easy mode there, and use his ulti effectively. So I think that's accurate.
Now the funny, I have to make a little bit correction here. Not correction, but I must admit, as we actually have a little bit of action bottom. Windrunner, you see the static link applied. Oh, and Furion's actually going to TP up, but you see the evasion from Windrunner, but she is stuck in the trees and will go down to the last hitting of Razor there. As mid, not to actually anything to go on. But I'm just really surprised that Rasta is level 6 and basically just pulling. That's all he's been doing. He really hasn't got much experience from the actual lane. Looks like tier 1 tower is going to be pushed here by the Radiant, and perhaps the opposite here for the Dire. But yeah, what do you think about the Shadow Shaman? Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised that he's such a high level. Same level as Bat Rider.
On the Bat Rider, he did TP to the mid lane when Bat Rider was diving, and they put the slows on him. He showed up and he got the last hit on Bat Rider. Plus, he has been doing a lot of pulling, and that's just something that you can do as a support hero, just to get experience while you're playing the game. And I think that was a decent decision. You know, just nice play from him, and he gets 6, and that's really all he needed there to take that tower, was that level 6.
Yeah, true enough. Looks like Razor's working on a hood for himself. Actually, he could be going Vanguard first and then going on the hood, but what do you think as far as item builds for Razor? Because I have not seen him a lot lately. Hasn't been the most popular pick as of late.
A lot of players, when I made my Razor video, people were absolutely insulted that I didn't get a Vanguard in that game, which we might see again. Against the Dire team, I would say a Vanguard wouldn't be a bad decision because of Lifestealer and Viper and, you know, the wards as well. That damage does get reduced by a Vanguard. I could definitely see him going Hood and a Vanguard, but I think he's a little bit more concerned about the Hood because of the Venomancer and the Viper.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that the wards from Rasta are physical damage, so definitely comes into effect there. As Dragon Knight might get ganked here. There's the slow open wound from Nakes, and finally Viper makes an appearance. It looks like they're going to get an easy kill. Viper does get the last hit, so Kranich just or Kranich. How do you pronounce his name?
Something like that.
Kranich. I'll just say it like that. But yeah, he's 1-0, 81 and 17 for creep kills, by far the top in the game right now. So he is definitely on his way to becoming a hard carry for this dire team.
Yeah, and that's why I love the phase boots so much, because you can just get in position. Once you get your ulti off, that's all the chase you really need, and it buffs up his damage by 24 as well. So it looks like he's actually going for a Yasha next. May end up picking up a Manta, so going for more of a push/carry build. And the last hit on the tower is going to be a Viper, so he's 200 away from a Yasha here, which is really farmed. Phase Vanguard Yasha at 13.5 minutes, dude. That is really dangerous.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit disgusting. Not gonna lie. He's gonna try to come up top to apply some pressure to Batrider. Actually, Batrider better be careful, because if he can get his ultimate's off cooldown, or on cooldown right now, so nothing's gonna occur. But he's gonna scare him off nonetheless. And Batrider, in the meantime, that's one of those heroes where I feel like getting a good start with him is important. Obviously, he's really good in the solo sides, but and again, this is a hero that I haven't personally seen a whole lot of, just because I didn't play Dota for the last 2 years. But regardless, what do you usually get? Vanguard, Blink Dagger, something like that?
Yeah,
it's hard to get farm on the solo though, side solo.
Yeah, he's in like a hard lane basically. It's hard for him to get CS here, but normally in a high level game against a hard carry, people pick up Batrider to just give like a solid ganking possibility, especially against heroes like Anti-Mage. So if they do get free farm, they just rush a super fast Blink Dagger, like a 10-minute Blink Dagger with boots and a wand and a stout shield, kind of like what Batrider has right now. And then they can just gank immediately and get like the easy flaming lasso, 3 seconds, which goes through Magic Community, and that's actually going to be very useful against Lifestealer in these upcoming team fights, and I'm pretty sure that's why they drafted Batrider. So that's what I'm expecting him to get, but yeah, just tank up Vanguard Hood, something like that, with an initiating item like a Blink Dagger.
So we were assuming that Furion was going to end up going mid, like we were talking about, and I was asking about late game potential, and I'm going to have to say I think Legion has, or Legion, the Radiant has better late game, just because Prophet now is definitely going carry jungling mode, if you will. As bottom lane, we're going to have a lot of action. Windrunner is going to be used on Windrunner, but there's the Tidehunter getting destroyed thanks to the ganking action of Rost and everybody else, and now Razor's going to try to get away, should be able to get away because no stuns coming out from Viper and whatnot. But, yeah, so, what is it, Hand of Midas on Nature's Prophet. Although he's going Hedris. What is he actually going for? Is he going for a mech, or is he going
Mechanism.
for... Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
so that... Usually if you're going to be a jungle... correct me if I'm wrong. Usually if you're playing a jungle farming hero, like a Prophet, you just go for straight DPS, like a sheepstick and whatnot, but I'm not used to seeing a Hedris on him.
Yeah, we have seen a little bit of resurgence of Nature's Prophets playing support, especially in the Chinese scene. This is really popular. They get something like an urn right off the bat, and then any item that they basically have can be applied globally in any situation. So it's a little weird that he ended up going a Hand of Midas first, but I think this is basically because he does want some carry potential, because like you said, it is close in terms of carry potential. So if he picks up that Hand of Midas and then gets his support items will be a little late, but he's still going to have them. He's going to be able to do a more or less global 250 HP heal. If it helps somebody out, may swing a team fight or something. So that's why he's going for that, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a good choice because Viper is going to take over this game at this point because of his farm. Looks like we might have a team fight here at the bottom lane. Tidehunter's trying to get off a Ravage, and I don't know if he's going to use it on one person here, but Shadow Shaman tries to ward block Razor. There's the ultimate from Tidehunter. It looks like Rasta is going to get killed. Razor better be freaking careful here. He's going to probably get killed here. So right now, 2-for-1 exchange, looks like Veno ended up dying. Dragon Knight is on the run here. Shackle's not able to actually shackle correctly, and I believe he's going to be able to get away here. Now Nakes better be careful. He does have the armlet. I don't think we mentioned that, but using that to get a little bit of HP there. And he's not able to... I think he already ultimated. Nope. He had his ultimate, just didn't choose to use it. Interesting choice. So he ends up dying as a result. Power Shot not able to get the kill onto Tidehunter, and Windrunner most likely will pay with his life. Actually, Windrun is available again. Oh! Ultra kill by Razor. Wow. I think that'll catch him up to the Viper at this point.
Well, he did buy back, though. That was him buying back and then getting an ultra kill like a boss. So that was pretty sweet by him. Good play by Leaf there, realizing how much early potential Razor has as a semi-carry. And all he had there was just a hood and that wand with those phase boots. And, that's how much impact you can make with Static Link and Plasma Field. So that was really nicely played by Leaf there, playing the Razor and picking up a lot of kills and turning that team fight into a win for them.
Alright, now I'm going to have to look at the gold per minute, which always eludes me because of the way this UI is set up. But now Razor is at 380 gold per minute, so definitely getting up there. Not quite up to Viper status based on that one team fight, but looks like he's going to run right into Viper. But of course, the bane of Viper's existence is a TP scroll, and he's going to use it to his advantage. But yeah, Viper right now, 420 gold per minute, by far the top in the game right now. and they better be careful. I mean, obviously, Prophet can catch up to that with that Hand of Midas, but right now it's only at 330 gold per minute.
Yeah, I'm surprised Viper is so high. He's doing a really good job. I think the one hero that's way less farm than they thought they would be a Dragon Knight. He's only at 200 gold per minute, and the Dire team now pushing on the bot lane. Everybody is here. They want to take a tower. Do we have Rasta ward? Yes, we do indeed. So I think we're going to see this tower drop. I think Rasta might even save his. Maybe they're going to go for a double tower push here, which I think would be smart with this Armlet Lifestealer. He's going to be hitting that tower really hard. And Venom wards as well. They could definitely take a second tower, I think.
Yep, agreed. And now, if you're gonna go max open wounds, do you end up like, I know you're not used to seeing open wounds being maxed, but if you, like in this case, do you agree with the rage being maxed out instead of feast?
I guess in like an early pushing situation, this is going to be better. If you're talking about farming or max DPS or something, I think I don't know. It's just a preference choice, I think. And the Radiant team is doing the smart thing here, going to be counter pushing mid while the Dire team went bottom. And Batrider is, you know, they're not going to get an extra tower this way. And I think if the Radiant team would have been passive or something like that, it could have been the difference. And Viper actually almost initiating there, but it looks like he backed out just in time.
Yeah, that static link will scare him off, I think, because he's pretty useless if he doesn't have any damage. But well, he still has, I guess, the magic damage. But either way, not the most useful of heroes without the damage. But looks like Rasta is going to take advantage of this and just get a little bit of solo XP while the entire team, the rest of the team here, is in the middle lane trying to perhaps push. But I don't think they can push without those Rasta wards.
Yeah, it's going to be a little tough to fight without them. Dragon Knight's still really underfarmed. He is going for a really fast hood here with the Stout Shield and the Treads. And are we going to see a teamfight initiation? We almost see a gush coming from the Tidehunter. It does go on the Venomancer. He's a little out of position. I don't know if we're going to see a static link. He does. Oh, missed static link by Leaf there. Big mistake. But the Venomancer will go down. And I think, yeah, the Viper will back out from that. So, slight mistake there, but luckily it wasn't a full-blown teamfight.
Now, tell me this, because this is a new addition from when I used to play, obviously. And again, apologies for people that are annoyed with me learning things, but that's just going to happen. Static link? Like, why wouldn't he just click on the hero? I know you can place it on the ground. That's the new mechanic I'm talking about that I'm not used to, because, I mean, that gives him a little bit of extra leeway as far as getting the static link off, but he had vision, I assume. Or maybe he didn't. I don't even know, but he should be able to just unit click him.
Yeah, he should be able to. It must have just been a misclick or something by him. That's my assumption. I've done it before as well. I'll misclick and be like, oh god, that sucks really bad. So now I can't static link for like 30 seconds. But I don't know. I assume it's just a misclick. I'm not really sure why you would be allowed to click it on the ground.
Well, maybe that's actually that's part of the mechanic. When you click on the ground, it goes to the closest unit in that line, which I personally didn't know about. So. That's a new thing for me. But anyway, looking at the items so far, it looks like Blink Dagger is picked up by Batrider. Are they going to be going for Roshan here? I definitely have the capability. I'm not sure if Ross is going to use yep, he's going to use his wards here, so it's going to be a pretty easy Roshan kill if the Radiant don't see it coming, but they're heading towards there, and Ravage is up on Tidehunter, so they definitely have capabilities to initiate here. But the ward is going to see them, so the Dire have the advantage as far as that's concerned. But the roster wards are wasted here, so I think this is a good opportunity for the Radiant to actually initiate, especially with that Blink Dagger on Batrider that they have no idea about right now.
It's actually not on his person yet, though. He's waiting for it to come. Roshan will slowly die here. I don't know. Oh, he's going to be hitting some of the wards here. He possibly can go down. There's a big Shackle Shot going to catch two heroes. Razor goes in. He hasn't quite cast a static link. There it goes down onto Lifesteal, and a big Tidehunter going to catch almost everybody. Will be able to burst him down. The mech gets popped as well. Venomancer ulti, but Lifesteal about to get killed. There's the disable on the Razor. If Razor goes down here without using his static link damage, it's going to be rough, but will he kill the Viper? It's going to be so close. He does get him before he dies. And the Radiant is... Wow, that was a very even team fight there.
Yeah, very even. I'm really surprised that went so even. I mean, Roshan is so close to being dead here, and I know both teams are really itching to get that kill. Nakes is still alive. Obviously, he's healing up, and I'm assuming he's going to TP back, but looks like the Radiant are going to take advantage of this. Dragon Knight's going to most likely take this Aegis. Venomancer is going to spot it, but nothing's going to come of it. He's going to put a Venomous Scale down, but there's not much they can do without their carry who's at the fountain right now. So good job by the Radiant initiating in there. Definitely had a good initiation from Tidehunter, although he ended up dying immediately after Ravaging, but that's going to happen when you're, I think he's level 7. Yeah, level 7 in the game 22 minutes in.
Yeah, he's got 900 HP. That's not a lot, but as long as you get that Ravage off and gush at least one guy, you can be happy about that. And they did a really good job taking advantage of that the fast Roshan. Like, it's very, very uncommon that you see some team fight there that early in the game, so that was pretty cool to see.
Now let's go over some items while we have some time. me see, where's that tab? There we go. So the Aegis was picked up by Dragon Knight. Looks like he's going for... Oh, looks like you're right. He's probably going to go for a pipe, I would assume. Yeah, has the hood, has the headdress, going to go for pipe next. So I'm not going to be going for Vanguard, I'm assuming. And...
maybe afterwards.
Yeah, I guess that's a possibility. Nature's Prophet on the other hand, really... This is more surprising than anything, the fact that he's not farming better than he should be with the Hand of Midas. He does have the mechanism, but 23 minutes in, you'd want a little bit more than that, I would assume.
Illusion.
Normally, yes. You would hope to have your sheep stick by now, but he did once again get the Hand of Midas, and he's been helping out in team fights, and has he died much? He's 1-1 in Force. He's been doing okay. I mean, he's got 104 CS. He's as good as the Life Stealer in terms of farm. Assuming Life Stealer has hit equal amounts of jungle creeps, but I think he's doing okay. He does have the mechanism, and somebody had to farm the mech on their team, and who else was going to do it? If you look at their lineup,
yep,
it had
true.
to be Nature's Prophet. So
it's very true. Yeah, that's one of the reasons that we're a little bit surprised with their picking. Although I think their team's working out decently well. It's just they don't have the typical lineup that we're used to seeing as far as support's concerned. So definitely can understand that. As far as the rest of the items are concerned, we have the blink that we talked about on Bat Rider. And anything jump out to you? I guess that's pretty much it for the Radiant. As far as the Dire is concerned, Manta, there it's finished finally. I thought it was going to get a lot earlier on that Viper, but finally does pick it up. That's going to be huge for him. He might get initiated on here, but looks like the Radiant are a little bit scared off here from that Manta wearing Viper.
yeah, it would be two-man. Viper is... and we're going to see another team fight coming here. Thon Mayo, the Life Stealer, actually does have a Sanj on his hero, which is a really great item. It boosts up your HP and gives you that chase ability, so it's kind of like a good option over Vanguard if you want the HP, but you don't want it to all just be wasted tank gold and still give yourself some damage possibilities. So I really like that M pickup. We'll see if he goes for Sanj and Yasha. I think he's probably just going to... Is he really?
He has a Blade of Alacrity on him.
I wasn't sure if he was just going to leave it or not.
What do you think about SMY? I specifically asked you about this when we were playing. You didn't seem to like my SMY idea on Nakes, so I want to hear your reaction to that. As we're having an action first here, Nakes is going to get an issue on it, but he has that rage, not getting any damage whatsoever. Ravager's going to go off, going to hit Venomancer. Venomancer's going to get easy kill here, or get killed easily, I should say. Venomancer ult going off is going to be ticking them down, but you see the pipe in effect, so not much damage is coming out here. So a 2-for-0 exchange. Nakes did die in that exchange. 3-for-0 exchange. Radiant's doing a really good job at kiting people here. Now the pressure's going to be applied to Viper, but can Viper get away with that slow? Looks like he probably is going to get away, although the blink is up now by Bat Rider. Does not have his ultimate. Is going to use the Sticky Palm to his best ability. Uses his Flame Break, but it's not really going to do too much at this point. There's a static link applied to the Viper. Windrunner is going to try to slow them down, but can't get the Shackle Shot off in time. And Viper is just taking a ridiculous amount of damage. You see the negative earn charge on him. Gonna get the kill is Razor yet again. I mean, great team fight from Radiant.
Yeah, that was really, really good, and mostly because of that pipe. As soon as that pipe was popped, it was like, oh my god, Radiant looks really strong right now. That many low HP heroes, I mean, it's like a 1000 HP Tidehunter. If he has a 400 HP shield against magic, that increases his survivability so much against the Dire team. You know, Venomancer, Shadow Shaman, even power shots from Windrunner and like Viper nukes, like when you're up against that much magic block, it is really, really daunting, and they picked up a lot of easy kills there because of it.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, pipe isn't... I mean, it's picked up pretty decent consistent-wise, but I feel like it could be picked up almost every single game. There's always one hero that has a lot of magic damage. Like, even if it was just Venomancer, I think somebody picking up a pipe would definitely, you know, aid their team, because his ultimate becomes just about useless. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it mitigates a ton of the damage coming out, but... you need to answer my question about this Saint Yasha, bro.
Okay, he already does have an armlet, so that's a very good damage item for a strength hero like him. He's got pretty good attack speed. The Sanj and Yasha will increase his movement speed. I guess I'm okay with it for the fact that he ended up getting the armlet first. If he didn't get armlet first, I would have said no.
As Prophet's going to try to TP out, and yet again, he's going to get away because Windrunner did use that Shackle Shot to initiate and didn't actually get the Shackle Shot off. But, yeah, I agree with that. That's why I picked up St. Josh on Nakes Purge.
Before or after armlet?
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
Part. You can't just say that it's cool and you did
That's
it
true.
right away.
But yeah, I really do like that because for him, open wounds. Now again, they do have a lot of slows on the team, so don't get me wrong. But open wounds, just alone, like in a 1v1 situation, is really frustrating trying to catch up to people because you don't typically do enough damage to kill somebody in one open wounds, if that makes any sense. One use of open wounds. And the extra move speed and then, of course, the chance to maim is just excellent on him, I think.
Yeah, some life stealers would go for something like a blink dagger even. A long time ago when open wounds was less mana expensive, they would just pick up a blink dagger after their armlet. But I mean, it's a choice. You know, he's going to get more utility out of a Sanjin Yasha. He could get more damage out of a Desolator or an AC or something, or a Heart even. So it's just kind of a preference. He's going to be more mobile and more able to slow people down with the Sanjin Yasha. So that's what he's going for this game.
Now that I'm looking at it, and obviously I'm a fan of that item in general on him, but in this specific game, with the amount of slows that they have, do you think he'd be better suited getting a Stygian, or a Desolator, or even an AC? As opposed to the SNY? Like, does that make sense to you that he would go for something that they already have a lot of?
I don't know. It's hard to say. There's so many variables, man. They already have a mech and a pipe, and they've got Razor doing static link. I mean, if there's no Razor, you know, if you get a Stygian Desolator, it's like, okay, you get plus 60 damage, but he's going to remove that in 2 seconds anyways. It's like, why would you even get a damage item? I don't know, it makes the variables very, very broad and hard to analyze, I guess. So it's hard for me to make a decision on that, I think.
That's true.
But he's going to, hopefully he gets an AC or a major damage item next. If he doesn't, then I'm going to say something's going on.
I don't think we've seen a smoke used once this game. That's like the first time ever. Very interesting.
I mean, Tidehunter has one.
Yeah, so does Shadow Shaman, so very interesting that nobody's even used one yet. Oh, it looks like Tidehunter did use it once, so... I don't know. Wait, does it come in 2? I can't remember.
Nope,
it comes in 1. So Ross is just collecting them.
Ross is
collecting, yeah, just collecting smokes at this point.
It's not a bad idea. They have a really long cooldown, man. Yeah. Or to repurchase from shop. It's like 8 minutes or something.
So Mechanism picked up on Windrunner, so it's going to match obviously the Mechanism from Nature's Prophet. Now, what item do you think like right now, who would you say has the lead? I mean, as far as gold experience lead, obviously it's going to be in the favor of the Radiant, but not by that much apparently, according to the gold.
I think they're looking a lot better because they've spent their gold better. They have a pipe, they have a mech as well. And does anybody on the Dire team have a pipe on the way? I don't think so. No, I mean, Winner's got a mech, and she could be close to a pipe if she's going for it, which I wouldn't be too surprised about. But we'll see. The Radiant team actually popped a smoke, and they're going on the Viper. Are we going to see the Sprout? There's the TP out. They need to disable Fear. Oh, nice. Barrier TP's in, and that's going to be it. Viper most likely going to die from this. We'll see a gush in a second, and wow. So much damage. He actually purchased a Talisman of Evasion right now. He's going to go for a Butterfly. He is going full-blown carry.
So he bought that right before he died?
Yes, he did.
Nice.
I don't know how close his gold was or not, but...
Well, that'll be interesting. I think that's... I kind of like it, actually, because considering that most of the damage that you're going to be taking in the later stages of the game is going to be Razor's auto attack thanks to that static link, which is apparently destroying this game and giving that 25 or whatever the percent evasion is. It 30%, whatever the evasion is, it's going to definitely be aiding him. Looks like Rasta is going to take a lot of damage. He's going to place his wards on top of Tidehunter's face. Will die as a result, though, and looks like wasted wards in the end. And at this point, 2 dead for Dire. I think they can definitely take this tier 2 tower and maybe apply a little bit of pressure towards another tier 2 tower, one of the other ones.
Yeah, it was a pretty big mistake by Rasta getting picked off like that. The Radiant did have the ward on the high ground, and then Tide let him off, got the gush off with the follow-up TP by the Nature's Prophet. Once again, using that beast positioning to contribute with a Sprout, and all of a sudden they're up 5-4. We have 8 seconds left on the Shadow Shaman, but he's not going to have wards anymore, so I think they're going to try to take a Rax here and probably be successful.
It's under attack.
This will be interesting. Looks like Razor has a Vitality booster, so definitely going for Heart next. A little bit of slow apply by Viper. There's the Viper initiation on the Viper by Batrider. A lot of damage coming out. There's the Ravage coming out as well. Viper is probably going to die, and that could be Rax, like you were saying. Venom does get his ult off in time, but is most likely going to die. Nice shackle shot by Venomancer, by Windrunner to save Venomancer. But right now, 3 dead for Dire. This is looking great for the Radiant at this point. I do believe, thanks to the Dragon Knight actually pops out of his ultimate form. They will take this tower at the very least. Shackle shots just have not been there for Windrunner this game, unfortunately. But she might be able to hold them off because they're pretty low at this point. But again, 3 dead for the Dire, so Radiant definitely had the opportunity here.
Yeah, that was definitely a big teamfight win there. The Razor using Static Link on the Lifestealer while they bursted down the Viper, and that was a pretty easy pick off. They might be able to get this Venomancer. The mech is popped. He's almost dead, and they will pick him off. He does go down, and they just need to pick off this tower and then back up, I think. But Movie XC taking a couple nukes there from the Razor, and now Razor might be aggressive once again, changing directions, but still not very many disables on the Radiant team. They're just kind of throwing AoEs and trying to pick off one of these Rax here while they're low HP.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything they could do. I mean, I would die for this Rax right now, although Nyx is up in 2 seconds, so they better be careful. Finally, a shackle shot. Hello. And the War Trap on Razor. Spaceman's is going to use Manta to get away. Oh my god. Very nicely played. Viper's going to try to slow him down. Razor's going to try to TP away, but Razor will finally get killed. Good job by Razor to almost get away, but unfortunately almost just isn't enough. Racks, they do save the racks though. That's the important part.
Yeah, they did a good job with that, but they are down by 9 kills, and they got that tower, and Dragon Knight is back to the bottom to farm, and we'll see if Viper can shut the rest of the team down. Tide ulti plus like the stun from Batrider, that's really what's changing the scope of the team fights, is the Batrider doing a lasso on one of those 2 hard carries, get them out of position, do a couple chain nukes, and Viper is able, Razor is able to just pick off pretty much whoever he wants and get the big static link up and clean up the house.
Is Flaming Lasso, I don't know what Dota actually calls it. It's called Superior Magic though. Like it goes through magic immunity or no?
Yeah, it does. It doesn't, yeah, it disables through Black King Bar.
Okay, so when he's raged up, he still doesn't matter. Okay.
Yep, he can go through anything.
Alright, that's really ridiculous. That's really freaking ridiculous.
That's like why they play the hero. They play him as a Black King Bar counter for heroes like Lycan, who always get Black King Bar, and they need to like make sure he doesn't destroy them with the BKB on. Or they use him as counters against hard carries. They use him as in ganks, and he basically just does AoE magic AoE magic damage, and has that ulti that can disable. So that's why the heroes played like entirely for that reason.
Maelstrom picked up by Windrunner. What do you think about that?
We're gonna see some awesome lightning AoE, that's for sure. Maybe we'll even see the fabled Windrunner Aghanim Scepter that I've never seen before in a competitive game.
Yeah, I don't think
the
I've
worst
seen that
Aghanims
either.
in the game. It's horrible.
What is it? It just increases the damage of her ultimate, right? Or lessens
No.
No?
Alright, so the way Focus Fire works, it reduces the damage you do. The way that the Scepter does is it removes the penalty from orb and item
Oh, that's
effects.
right.
That means it's going to make sure that the Maelstrom also isn't reduced by 30% damage or 40%, because those lightning splashes are also reduced by that percentage. So basically, if you get a Maelstrom and then get an Aghanim Scepter, your lightning chains do more. Or same thing for Monkey King Bar, something like that.
That's kind of funny because a hero like that, you don't really typically see them use their ultimate on people. It's most likely because you don't want to be stuck in a fight just auto attack or just having your ultimate just standing in one place. Usually just on buildings and whatnot. But yeah, that would be hilarious
to make it worse,
to see.
like sometimes you have to change targets mid-team fight. You know, it's like.
Yeah, that's true. Naix is going to get completely decimated here. That is a pretty big kill. I think that's enough to Rack's top if he doesn't have enough money to buy back, which 1,400. Actually, I think he has enough to buy back.
Looks like a little shit-talking going on with the players here. Razor is almost up to his heart. DK picks up a plate mail. Batrider picks up a plate mail. It's a smart decision, man. You know, that's a lot of survivability against physical DPS, and Lifestealer's basically not going to have any way to do damage from this point out in the rest of the game, so...
I don't think... Did we mention the Sheep Stick on Prophet? Either way.
I did not.
He's had it. I think he had it last fight as well. This big item. Heart almost finished on Razor. Another 100, but they're probably going to just wait for that recipe to initiate into battle. Dire know that the Roshan's being attempted, but without Naix, there's just nothing they can do at this point. Kind of unfortunate. Blink Dagger is picked up on Tidehunter, so that's going to give him a little bit more initiation. And yeah, the items are just getting a little bit out of hand here for Radiant, so I think one more good team fight and they could potentially end this game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Venomancer is going to gale this, and Windrunner's in position, but there's no way she can get on the low ground. She's going to try to snipe it, which was badly timed there. And there's a Sheep on the high ground. Who was that going in there? Batrider actually blinking in, trying to make something happen, and the teams are going to disengage, but they don't really care, man. They just got a free Aegis and free Roshan kill.
And this is actually, honestly, a little bit surprising for me to see a hero dominate early as far as farm department goes in the Viper, and really hasn't been able to capitalize on that throughout this game. But meanwhile, Tier 2 tower is going to be pushed here by the Radiant side, and Viper is going to continue to push this bottom lane. And I'm sure once they take this lane, they regroup, and I guess they're trying to backdoor this because it's healing up horribly here. And there's a shackle shot. Wow.
I don't really know why Viper just didn't perform that great. He's not the hardest carry. He only ganked one guy in the early game. I feel like he maybe could have ganked a little bit more. That could be one reasoning. And he's just been getting chain disabled, you know? By Batrider especially.
They're trying to chase him. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, as the slow onto Nature's Prophet wasn't enough for him to get away. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, we're going to have a little bit of action. Looks like there's a team fight of their own coming out here. Nice Manta style yet again. Razor's using that really to his advantage here. Might get killed, though, as a result. Will go down, but has the Aegis, of course, he's going to come back. Now there's the stun on the Lifestealer. Is that going to be enough for Razor to actually get the kill? Lifestealer's going to use the Rage to try to get away. Everybody's trying to run away for this Dire team, and they're just on the defensive completely. Nice Venomous Scale going to be used, but Lifestealer is going to get killed thanks to the Razor. And Razor is just taking over this game. He is 14-3. Like, Jesus H, man. Freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, doing really good, man. The static link is just so good. It helps you scale into the late game so well. He's got 2,500 HP now, the Manta, the Hood, and the Heart of Trust. It's just such good items here. Makes him so difficult to kill, and just the follow-up disables from the other heroes like Tidehunter, even the Nature's Prophet Sheep, just really lets him do that damage. I thought he was going to die a lot sooner than he did in that team fight. I was actually pretty surprised that they ended up winning that one.
Yeah, okay, after this game, I'm specifically gonna test out I just need to know, like, 100% the static link goes through BKB, because that is, if that's the case, then he's so much better than I thought he was. I knew he was good, but seriously, that's ridiculous. Because in games that I cannot mention, it definitely does not work like that, so that's the reason I'm a little bit surprised by it. But
yeah, you could say that he's definitely a little underused as a carry. He's a pretty good solo, or as a semi-carry, I guess. Semi-carry / carry. This is the point in the game where he gets less effective, though. I mean, if he was fighting a anti-mage who had equivalent farm as him, he wouldn't be able to stand toe-to-toe with him. And that's, I mean, he gives you an early game advantage, and he has very, very powerful skills against solo heroes who don't necessarily have mantas, because Static Link just makes it easy to reduce their damage, and they have no getaway. So I think in this case, Razor was a really good pickup against the Lifestealer, and they do play Lifestealer on their lineups pretty often, actually. Panzer, I believe, used Lifestealer in the other games we played, and they probably know his weaknesses, so I think this is why they drafted the Razor, which seemed very unconventional.
Smokey is going to be used by Dire to try to gank in the forest here. Are they going to actually run into anybody? They might run into Tidehunter. It's pretty freaking low. Now, you're talking about, he's just going to blink out. So Intuition kicking in for the Tidehunter. I mean, typically speaking, though, like, range heroes aren't going to carry as hard as melee regardless, but as far as range carries are concerned, Razor definitely has to be up there in contention with the best. Would you agree with that?
As a hard carry?
For a range carry.
Oh, a range carry?
Because I consider them completely different. He's actually going to run into the entire Dire team, but with Bat Rider's help, I think he's going to do enough damage to perhaps take people down. Actually, he's going to get Shackle shotted, and going to use the Manta yet again to get away. My goodness, he's using the best of his ability. There's the Ravage, hitting just about the entire Dire team. Negative charges on Windrunner. Most likely going to get killed thanks to the Bat Rider. And this is just not looking good for the Dire whatsoever. Razor did die, but I still think enough damage is going to come out from the Radiant to clean them up here. And it looks like Viper actually going to continue to get chased here. I mean, Dragon Knight level 3 ult is just redonkulous. Lifestealer using the armlet to stay alive, but it's just not going to be enough, unfortunately. That's going to be a team wipe. Radiant on top, even without their carry, still doing enough damage.
Yeah, Razor is, I mean, you asked if he's one of the hardest range carries, and I would disagree. Like I said, he is, he's mad about that one. He did run back into the team fight and got killed, basically.
He probably just clicked on the mini-map. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
It's possible, but, you know, Razor is, like I said, he's more powerful early game than other carries, but late game he's not one of the most powerful carries in my opinion, because he does rely so heavily on Static Link. I would say the hardest range carry is definitely going to be Sniper. You know,
oh,
if
I agree
a Sniper
with that.
has obscene farm, he's like destroying you and critting for like 800 from like 800 range. It's really powerful.
Yep, I definitely agree with the Sniper. I've always felt like he is... I mean, he can take down a lot of melee carries too once he gets farmed enough, but obviously not an anti-mage. But either way, Rack's going to be killed here in the middle lane, and that GGs are coming out, so congratulations to Panja for winning this game against... This was actually a really good game against EPIDEMIC. I was going to say Pandemic, but they're not around anymore.
Yeah, I think they played really well. I love how they transitioned their... I mean, as soon as that Dragon Knight, despite being shut down, did get that pipe, that just changed the entire game. It was even up until that pipe, and then it was just like he played an absolute tank Dragon Knight as a semi-carry and really, really contributed enough in the team fight, I think.
Speaking of him, he's going to be stunning Venomancer using that pipe. Of course, that Assault Gears doesn't really, you know, doesn't hurt either. He's disgustingly overfarmed at this point. Use Dragon Tail yet again. There's the ultimate going to be used by Dragon Knight. Sheep going to be used. And actually, a nice 4-stuff going to get Venomancer out for now, but it looks like Tidehunter is going to be chasing him to the best of his abilities. Viper is actually standing 1v1 against this Dragon Knight, so doing a pretty good job. Of course, help with Lifestealer is definitely going to help. Nice War Trap on a Nature's Prophet, but he's just going to auto-type this out of that. And the Shackle Shot's probably going to be used. Looks like he's going to get killed, so a little bit of useless fighting going on. Let's not, I mean, this game's essentially over at this point. But it's a very entertaining game. I finally a decent game for me to cast. Like seriously, every game has been a complete stomp as of yet.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun one to watch for sure. I would even watch it in my free time if you could tell me every game was like this, man. I would be like, hell yeah. Except for this Mjolnir Windrunner. That was pretty weird. It's like, it's so cool, like, that you could shoot lightning bolts like crazy, but like, it gives you attack speed, and you already shoot with max attack speed with your ultimate. It's like so bad.
Now, if you were to get an orb, or even a buff placer on the Windrunner, like, let's just say you're forced to, what would you buy?
Maybe a Desolator, probably something like that. I'll have to look at the orbs.
Really, you wouldn't get? I'd get like a crit or something like that, or even MKB, something that procs.
Crit's not an orb though.
Well, I guess that's true. Okay, any item, any item that would potentially make your ultimate better. Let's just say that.
I would possibly get an MKB probably if I'm looking for damage. I think that's probably one of the best ones. When I first played Windrunner, when I came back to Dota and started playing it a lot, like from casual to like playing more seriously, I would get like Helm of the Dominator on her, and then just like focus fire a guy, so I'd be like life stealing the whole time, something like that. Life steal's kind of cool, but it's not really that effective as the important part.
Yeah, definitely some damage to go with that. Messerschmitt's Reaver, which I will continue to call until the day I die, is picked up by Viper. Yeah. How dare you, by the way? That's the best name ever. Nakes did die. Now, I think the problem that we're seeing in this game is more useless fighting going on. There's just so many slows for the Dire. Not enough stuns, I don't feel like. Especially with Windrunner not able to shackle anybody this entire game. I think that's been the Achilles heel for them, if you will. Because people have just been TPing out of every single engagement. No problem. Because Nakes slows, Venomancer slows, Viper, so they have no stuns whatsoever.
It's true.
Relying on Windrunner and Rasta, who haven't had the greatest games. I mean, Rasta, you know, obviously didn't get the best levels, but
and the raiding team, like we said before, the Batrider ulti on either one of those semi carries, picking them off immediately, letting Razor deal with whoever was left over. That just worked really, really good.
I believe Windrunner just tried to use her ultimate, and of course it did nothing to the Razor, who has the heart, has the Hyper Stone, has the Manta style, going for the Stalk Pierce, of course, with the hood, of course. Ward Trap placed on Rasta himself, I believe, as a defensive mechanism. And it's actually going to be enough to save him, but not for Venomancer, unfortunately. And it looks like his throne's going to get killed. So congratulations to Panzer, who I think have won basically every single game I've cast, or we've cast together, right?
Yeah, something like that. They're very good. They have some very good players, and I think their picks were very excellent as well. They definitely outpicked their enemy team, I think.
Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. This was the only cast, actually. I'm not going to be casting tomorrow because I am moving to get better internet. Apparently people are lagging, so I don't know what that's about, but that's going to be fixed hopefully in the coming days. Purge may or may not be... Actually, I can just ask you now. Are you going to be casting tomorrow, you think? You're not sure? There's going to be a bunch of games.
Doing at least the first half of the morning doing the defense games, so I'm not sure.
You're only casting like 8 games tomorrow, you know, no big deal.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna play with fans for like 6 hours immediately afterwards, so I think I'm probably not gonna be able to do it. I'm gonna do that, play with fans immediately afterwards. I haven't done that in a while, so. Alright,
so if anybody wants to cast the games, you know, by all means hit us up. We'll let you cast it because I'm not gonna be here. Purge is not gonna be able to do that. We'll see what happens though. Again, my name is SUNSfan from Dotacinema. Purge, you are from Purge Gamers. Why don't you give a shout out to your YouTube channel?
That's right, youtube.com/PurgeGamers if you want to see me. I have a wide variety of instructional material, procast, pub gameplay commentaries. I do everything, man.
Yes, very instructional and or very informational. Is that a word, informational? I should make that a word.
I'm gonna guess not.
Yeah, it probably doesn't sound right,
cool.
But it sounds awesome, yes. Anyway, my name is SUNSfan again. This is Purge, and thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, we love you.